Hey everybody, it's Maria, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the books that I've recently finished as well as what I'm in the middle of reading. We've had some sewing projects going on around the house as well as some reorganization, so I haven't got as much read, and I'm in the middle of a lot of great books. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive right in so this doesn't go on forever. I'm going to start with this one because it is a really, really great one. I think I give it 5 stars. It's Dear Martin by Nick Stone. If you want to hear a really great bookish discussion video, please, I'm going to link it below. Bookish Realm did a really great discussion. She is a Black female, so I really liked hearing her perspective on this. She had some great things to say, and she's always entertaining to listen to. So this book is told from a Black teenage perspective. He is a senior in high school, very good student, planning on going to a very good college. And some things happen where he starts to kind of realize that the world is treating him differently because of his color. He's paying more attention. Also, meanwhile, interspersed, he is kind of taking on a personal project called the Dear Martin Project. It reminded me a little bit of, I don't know if you remember this at all, I'm dating myself, but in the conservative Christian movement, the WWJD, What Would Jesus Do? He kind of did the What Would Martin MLK Jr. do, and I really liked that spin on it. I loved hearing his thoughts. It was written very candidly, but there were a lot of really deep topics talked about in here. You have kind of the Justice is living between two worlds. He has a lot of white friends. He has one Black friend that is his best friend, and then he also has, you know, kind of the people that he lives around, and so he doesn't really fit in anywhere, and he's trying to figure that out. There's also some interracial dating issues that are talked about in here, which I liked, but what I really, really appreciated is the idea, not just talking about police interactions with Black males, but the idea of how white people oftentimes will interact with their Black friends. And what is okay and what is not okay. And I really liked how they managed, Nick Stone did a great job in this short of a book of making you feel all the feelings for the different characters and really kind of taking away almost a complete experience. I really liked it. I don't often get a chance to read from a Black male, especially teenage perspective, and I liked that a lot. It kind of reminded me of Dear Mr. Henshaw mixed with like Men We Reaped or Just Mercy, because you kind of get lots of different perspectives of Black male in society and how different people look at them in their different settings. I just really recommend this book. It is YA, but it doesn't hold back. It has a little bit of a romance, but it's talked about in a way that you feel adds to the story. It's not just there for fluff. I really recommend this, especially for Black History Month. So I'm not going to ramble on about that, but check out Bookish Realm's book discussion of this if you want. She's a Black female, and she's very witty, has great funny things to say, and I loved hearing her talk about certain aspects of the book that really just drove her bananas in a good way. So next up is Teaching from Rest, A Homeschooler's Guide to Unshakable Peace by Sarah Mackenzie. I've listened to Sarah Mackenzie's podcast, Read Aloud Revival, for years, and I've been meaning to pick this up. Our library had it. It's a very short book. I didn't really get much out of it. Maybe it's because I've already heard a lot of her really great nuggets on her podcast. Basically, fill yourself up or you won't be able to add to your family's life and your children's, students' life. Find things that are enjoyable to both of you. I don't know. I was kind of underwhelmed, but it was a short book, so I didn't really care. Next, I listened to a book called The Year of Less, and the subtitle is How I Stopped Shopping, Gave Away My Belongings, and Discovered Life is Worth More Than Anything You Can Find in a Store. This is by Kate Flanders. It was well done on audio. I think it was about 4 hours. I preferred the book not buying it, which I cannot remember the author of right now. I'll have to link that below as well. But I think if you are new to the idea of a spending ban, this would be a good book. I am not new to it. I'm in month 5 of my own spending ban. And so while I recognized some of the things she was saying, as well as some of the tips that she gave about how important it is to declutter while you're doing that, because you start taking inventory, and how you change your perspective on things. I've just read some other books that are better. But yes, this was great on audio, and if you are new to the trying to cut back and not buying it idea, then I definitely, it was free on Hoopla, so you're not really missing out on anything by giving it a shot. Next up, I read this in one sitting. This is kind of counting as a reread for the year, because I'm trying to do reread-a-thon. This is Kindred by Octavia Butler, but this is the graphic novel adaptation. It is drawn by Damian Duffy and John Jennings, and I thought they did a great job. If you're unfamiliar with Kindred, it was actually written in the 70s, I think. Octavia Butler is the first African-American female science fiction writer. And what I appreciate about her writing is that she takes a lot of social justice issues and weaves them into her stories. So Kindred is a time travel novel where a woman in the 70s who is married to, she's a black woman and she's married to a white man. She keeps getting pulled back in time to save a white boy who, as he gets older. And I don't want to give much more away than that, but there's some very graphic descriptions, depictions of slavery in here, social justice issues surrounding that, the different roles that different kinds of slaves might have taken, the feeling of having hope beaten out of you. The drawings in here really add to the experience, I think. I wasn't sure how... I really liked the book, so I wasn't sure how the graphic novel was going to hold up. It did a great job. If you are wanting to kind of have more Octavia Butler, but you don't know if you can squeeze it into your time frame, it's a good one for Black History Month as well, for several reasons. Octavia Butler is an icon in the Black History canon of people that you should know, but also she talks in depth about what that experience is like. So I would pick it up. 5 stars, definitely. Now for the ones that I am in the middle of, which are, I'm going to show you the one I DNF'd first. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. And it's not because it wasn't good, people. I know you said it was like one that everybody loved, and this is one of the ones I asked, what should I read next? It's because of the style it's written. I don't mind books that are written like letters, but when there are multiple people to keep track of, and the way I read is not big chunks at a time. I can't with the kids running around all the time. I can maybe read a chapter, I squeeze in a few pages, and then maybe a big chunk of chapters. But it got really confusing trying to keep track of who is writing what letters to whom. There's some really witty lines. I got about 60 pages in, and even though it's short, I just didn't care. So I'm going to DNF it because life's short. All right. Now for the ones that I'm in the middle of. Ender's Game, Orson Scott Card. This is another one you guys said to pick up, and I'm really glad. This is, I don't know if it's necessarily YA. My husband actually just read this year too, so I'm excited to get to talk to him about it. But it is science fiction set in the future. There are robots that are attacking humanity, and we have had to kind of train up an army of children from childhood to try and defeat these robots. And there's like kind of a child prodigy main protagonist named Ender, and I'm thinking this is interesting, so I should probably finish that in the next week or so. How to Read the Quran. This one is by Mona Siddiqui, I think. Yes, Mona Siddiqui. It's very short. I'm planning on picking up the Quran this year and reading through it because I haven't. And that seems kind of weird if I'm trying to learn more about other thoughts, people. I think that's kind of an important thing. It's one of the major holy scriptures for the world. So yeah, so far some interesting things so far. I liked how they've talked about some similarities between the Jewish Christian faiths, just to kind of give me a jumping off point. Yeah, and I got another one similar, so we'll see how that one compares. This one is Laugh It Up, Embrace Freedom and Experience Defiant Joy by Candace Payne, and she is the Chewbacca Mom, which I will link that video below because if you haven't seen it, you have to. She is a woman who got famous for having a video go viral of putting on a Chewbacca mask and laughing hysterically. This is about her life and how she kind of has found defiant joy, and I really have appreciated it. There's certain things in here. It's written from a Christian perspective, but she's not pushy about it. I definitely have found certain things in my past that have kind of come up as far as feelings of not being worth enough, and trying to make up for it other ways. But yeah, it's kind of a fun book. I'll review more of that later. This one is Love, Hate, and Other Filters by Samira Ahmed. This is kind of an Indian Muslim girl trying to deal with her coming of age, separating from her parents, choosing between white boy and nice Indian Muslim boy. It's a fun read. I'm thinking some of the things are interesting brought up in there. We'll see how it goes. I am buddy reading The Muse by Jessie Burton. So I'm excited about that because I've been meaning to get to this for a while. And the one that I'm super excited about is I am listening on audio to Roots by Alex Haley. And it is the best Black History Month pick I can imagine. The audio is spectacular. I've listened to it's 30 hours, guys, so it's super long. And I got it through Hoopla, so I'm gonna have to check it out again. But I listened to the audio. I've cried twice in the first couple hours. I'm 6 hours in of 30. And this book, I'm glad I'm doing it on audio because I think I would be nervous and just abandon it because it's so long. But I've been listening to it, which means I'm behind on my YouTube and podcast listening, but you got to make choices. So that is what I am reading currently and what I just finished. I would love to know, what are you reading currently? What are your favorite Black History picks that you are enjoying? Also, don't forget the giveaway for the picture book that I'm doing. I will link that video as well below. Is ending on the 20th. So if you want to leave a comment on that video to get a free picture book, I would do that. So I'll talk to you all later. Bye.